Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another JackalMan stream. If I sound a little bit hesitant, that is because on my side, my YouTube stream is buffering. It's just showing a black screen with the usual loading symbol spinning around. So you are going to have to comment on whether or not the stream is actually visible. If it's not, I don't know what I'm going to do. Yesterday I ran into all sorts of technical problems trying to get SRB2 to run. In the end I had to cancel that and delay it until today. So I'm not having much luck with technology at the moment. But anyway, as has been the case for the last couple of SRB2 streams, for the last... must have been about 2 months at this point. We are playing through the game with a couple of character mods that I have covered in the past. So, today, that is... let me show them. I think we do it on extras because that lets me reset. That is Cacee, as you can see there. It is also Chaos Knuckles and Minecraft Steve, who, out of all of them, to be honest, is probably going to be the most difficult one of them to use because he is a maverick and therefore has a lot of strange properties when playing on controller. So we'll see how that one works out. But before we do any of that, I think we should probably start on Cacee's tutorial because he is the first character we are playing as. So, it has been a while since I've played as any of these guys. I think the most recent of them was like 2022, 2023. So that's been a while. So, first of all, we start with Cacee, who has her own tutorial, made by Lightdaster, I believe, Cacee is. So, here we are. First thing we're going to do is some Spike Rush combos. Very effective, very cool. Well done. Looky here, a pit of spikes. Don't you worry, amiga. This chica doesn't have to worry about those. Mouse. I believe we can just run on the spikes. See, we're immune to them. Seeing as we are a cactus, we are spiky already. See, spike proof. Mostly. Don't know what that's referring to, but there we are. And again, guys, if you can't see the stream, you're gonna have to tell me. It is buffering on my end, but seeing as no one's commenting, I am going to have to assume it's okay. My rising upper can lift up nearby enemies. I can do this by pressing the jump key a second time in the air. The longer I hold my jump key, the higher I jump and drag my enemies. So, boom. I can empower springs too by punching them with the spin button. Did that there. Now pay attention here. When I drag enemies up, I can follow up with a punch. That grants me another rising upper. I don't need to hit the specific enemy I dragged up though. So long as I punch any enemy mid-air, I'll always get my rising upper back. Which is of course important because it lets us combo. Though I messed that up. Okay. You do need to hold the direction you're going. It's not good enough to just press L2. You do have to do that. But there we are. Got there eventually. Spikes no problem, are no problema for my fist either. Okay, just break through them. There we go. Sorry, you can. Don't know. There we go. Right. Take those rings, thank you. You can do some weird things with the punch if you change direction midair. As you may have noticed already, my combo finisher is an AoE attack. Area of effect. It can also be used to break bustable floors below me as well. You can also control how far you go when you punch. If you hold a direction, I'll zoom off. If you don't, I'll do a more precise strike. Okay. I'd like to break this, please. Oh, have I messed up by destroying all of the enemies? Oh, oof. I think I have soft locked myself. I assumed there would be some sort of... There we go. That's what I was trying to do. Wasn't letting me do the final stage of the combo for a while there. But got there eventually. I was saying, it seems a bit awkward to just soft lock you at the final hurdle. What's through here? Well, those were the basics. When you end the tutorial by going straight to the goal there, we can take a left and try Smoke Challenge course. Purely optional, of course. Or we can take a right and practice against some enemies, get you a triple S or something. Let's go to the left. I mean, enemies, easy enough to do, but it's good to figure out our maneuverability. See? So we can kind of duck under obstacles there. Just a little too low. I thought I punched, but I guess I was going the wrong direction. Oh. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. Right, some enemies here. I guess we're going to rising upper them. Yep, there we go. That's exactly what we needed to do. I guess we need to rising upper them multiple times now. Problem is they drop a little bit slower than you do from the looks of it. Oh, 3 in a row. That's nasty. Ooh. Awkward. Come on, give me some rings. There we go. See, you need to kind of get the timing perfect to actually hit the enemy that you're rising up, because they don't go as high up as you do. Or you just dive into the enemy behind you, in this case. Can't do that because you're... Oh, come on. Awkward to die in tutorials every... Oh. And then the other enemy doesn't rise up with us. Come on. Come. Work with me here, crawlers. Work with me. Don't know why I went so far there. I guess that's because I was holding forward. You bounced too far. You just bounced into the other enemy. Rising upward there, but go on. Go off on one. Oh, that was kind of cool. Let's see how that works if we just... Okay. It's not quite as effective as I hoped it'd be. I was kind of hoping it would just let me hold that, but no. Okay, need to be a little further back. There! Oh, too low. Come on. Stupid crawler. Why did you not rise up with me? It'd be good if there was like a little tornado effect or something that showed how far you're affecting, because I suppose there is kind of one. I'm assuming the dust cloud represents that, but as in like up and down as well, when you're rising up is important, and there really isn't any indication of that. So like... Oh, come on! Which Steve is it? The one that requires OpenGL or the more Sonic-like Steve? It's the one I've played in a previous review. So if someone, if someone does want to figure it out, you can go back and look. Alright, I'm done with this. This isn't working. If someone does want to look at it, you can go back and see it there. Yeah. Whoa, okay. Need to return to title and actually make sure I select Cacee, because if you go somewhere from a tutorial, you automatically change to Sonic. There we go. Cacee. It's 2 hits to destroy an enemy despite the 3-hit combo, but he is small enough for Okay, C is a lot smaller than the usual character, but not quite small enough to break through, to get into duck areas automatically. So I haven't quite figured out what archetype he is. I think a combatant probably works. See, there we go. That's what I was trying to do. You can also get a fair amount of momentum with your punches. Your triple combo. Andre Brawler. Why do we have less players in the game? I don't really know what you mean, Andre, to be honest. I can't really answer that without knowing what you mean by that. Oh, come on. Wrong angle. It seems that he throws out the Shoryuken voice line. Oh, got a good amount of air there with the momentum we had. Cacee throws out the Shoryuken voice line if you are hold the ability for as long as possible. I'm not quite sure what's best for maintaining your distance in the air. Whether it's best to just spam your triple combo or whether it's better to just use it more intelligently. The one problem is the signature SRB2 on controller problem of your directions getting a bit messed up in the air. Like you're holding the same direction and then all of a sudden you're kind of going to the side a bit. Oh, just missed. Oh, come on. Nearly got there without getting hit. Nearly. But we did get there. Unfortunately, no taunts on her end, but we'll see what her idol is. I have no doubt she has an idol. Let's have a look. Come on, Cacee. Show us what you can do. Oh, isn't that cute? It seems like she stores her speed somewhat in the ground pound, if that makes sense. Like if you can, it looks like you can kind of cancel out of it if you work it correctly. Oh, we are making good progress here. Right, we're gonna go this way. Jump straight over that. And we could probably finagle something with the enemy there, but I don't really want to bother, to be honest. We're just going to go straight up here. I'm not quite sure what's going on with her running animation though. I don't know why only one boxing glove appears rather than two, but there we are. Maybe she only has the one. Techno-Hill, Zone 2. I'll be honest, I'll probably finish this one and then move on to Arid Canyon and Red Volcano, because those seem to be the two that are going to be most interesting as Cacee. My last video did pretty well, and it's made me realize that if I am going to make all of these characters, complete all of these character streams by the time I hit 5,000 subscribers, I am going to need to up the pace a bit. So I think what's going to happen from this point on with future streams is that we are going to increase the number covered in a single stream to maybe 5, 5 characters a stream, but then just have them each have less time. So, you know, maybe not a complete playthrough or the kind of semi-complete playthrough we've been doing up until now. Maybe they have like, you know, half a playthrough or so. Because to be fair, with a lot of characters, especially the ones I was covering in the early days of the channel, where I wasn't so confident with the game, a lot of them are pretty straightforward. Like, they probably don't need a full playthrough to get the gist with. Yeah, okay, I was about to say, we are not going to... we're not going to make the time. We're not going to make the distance there. I am liking Cacee quite a bit. My gripe with her is less to do with her, like the character herself, more to do with just how the game handles some things, especially on controller. I think it's the, you know, it's one of those things that maybe you don't quite expect with a AAA game, but like the way that you can duck around things and this and that, it's a bit off. I don't know how to describe it, but the way that you can kind of end up going side to side when you're using the same ability despite holding one direction feels a bit off. It's not something that would normally happen in a lot of AAA games. I can't really explain what happens in SRB2, but it's probably just one of those things. There's some little quality of life thing that most AAA games do that Sonic or Blast 2 doesn't. Hossam OSC asks, what type of version are you using right now? If you are talking about SRB2, it is 2.2.15, I believe. If you're talking about Cacee, it is the most recent version. With all of these streams, before I start playing the character, I go and check up on the SRB2 forums and check to make sure that they are indeed the most recent version of the character. So they are. So Cacee is the most recent version of the Cacee mod released. Chaos Knuckles is the most recent version of Chaos Knuckles. I actually did need to update him. And then I think the same as Steve. I think I also needed to update him. I use 2.2.13. I'm on tablet. I have heard from a lot of mobile users from my most recent video talking about SRB2 2.3 that mobile hasn't been updated to the most recent version for quite a while now. I don't know when they're planning on updating it. You know, I don't work with Sonic Team Junior, but yeah, I hope they do get around to updating at some point. From the looks of it, even just kind of looking at a lot of YouTube videos by other creators, it seems that a lot of people play SRB2 on mobile rather than PC, so they probably do want to make sure to keep updating it, just to keep everyone happy. Let's go this way. Let's see how she can handle this. There we go, that's what I was trying to do. Because, like, we can just stand on these spikes. Like, it doesn't actually matter at all. Just, here we are. This, I was going to say that's the bit that's going to do us, but it isn't actually, because we're going to go this way instead. See what's down here. I was about to say, see what's down here. I was worried there's going to soft lock me there. The good news is we also don't need to worry about the spikes in those like crusher bits, which is always an annoyance here on this stage in particular. Doesn't really matter here though. Right. Oh, please be, yes, please be taking us up to the surface. I joined the stream to see the struggle of a lifetime. There we go. Through here. Take these springs. Ooh. There we go. I don't know why it didn't take us up the full distance the first time, but got there in the end. And we are up this way. Crustaceans got the better of me, but it is luckily only one hit. Round here, down there. I would kind of like it if the ground pound also acted as a fast fall, just to get you down to the ground faster. It's not like a huge part of a kit. It's not like, you know, a huge amount of missing potential, but it would be kind of cool. Just as a little bit of extra versatility. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Come on, quick, 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 quick. Ooh, there we go. This bit, don't need to worry about the button. We'll just go straight through here. And thank goodness there's a wall there, so I don't actually need to worry about trying to aim the ground pound. Ignore those. See, it'd be good if the ground pound let us, like, drop through there faster. But, there we are. It doesn't. Just gotta deal with it. Take that, please. See, like, if you can kind of store a jump while you're sat there waiting for your waiting for movement to be activated again after hitting the ground pound. That's what I kind of meant by you can store a jump. I mean, to be fair, you can't actually see that because you can't see what buttons I'm pressing, but trust me, you can. It feels pretty good. Like, it doesn't eat an input. Storing inputs is one of those things that you do have to be quite careful about, because it can often be a case that it feels a bit off if you press something and then it doesn't immediately trigger, but then there are other times where it does feel quite good. So it's one of those things that's kind of on a case-by-case basis. Ooh, the one thing I haven't checked actually is whether Cacee is immune to electricity, because the download page basically makes her out to be invincible against basically every single passive thing in the game. So we'll have to check electricity. I get the feeling that will probably be the limit, because, you know, why would a cactus be immune to electricity unless there's specifically that's some strange quirk of cactus biology that I'm unaware of. Which, to be fair, wouldn't really surprise me. Like, plants are weird. I wouldn't be that surprised to find out that actually cactuses react weirdly to electricity. Ooh, down there. Don't need to worry about the thing, because we are just short enough to slip underneath it. And I was thinking about trying to do the ground pound there, but that wasn't happening. We'll have to try those spike balls in the Egg Coliseum as well. That would be interesting to see whether she is immune to those. Alright, we are going to try something here. We're going to... I was going to say we're going to take a Robo Hood and we're going to see whether we can make it up to that point without worrying about this. But, once again, sail right over the thing. It is kind of annoying. I think the enemies could do with being launched up a little bit higher by your punches. They just don't go quite high enough. It's a bit awkward trying to hit them a lot of the time. Whoa, okay. Oh, and the one thing I haven't tried out yet is Super Cacee. That's the thing I need to activate on the next level. Let's go. Let's not waste time waiting for that. Whoa! Changing directions. A little bit wrong place there, Cacee. Spooking me. Speaking of spooks and castles and all the rest of that, I am planning later today to release the first episode of the pardon me, of the Castlevania playthrough. So I've been talking about that for a while now, like a really long time. I've been planning it for ages. But finally, after way too long, we are finally going to be releasing that Castlevania playthrough, or starting it, I should say, later today. It took me a while over the last couple of days trying to get it to work properly, because it was not feeling it. There we go. Right, let's try out what her super form can do. I get the feeling, to be honest, it might just be a more powerful version of the usual thing. I don't think there's going to be anything too crazy with her. She's not kind of giving me that vibe, if that makes sense. Maybe like a larger radius for her punches, like being able to carry people. It seems it's a horizontal. Her height degradation isn't quite as strong with the punches, with the triple combos used to be. So it seems like she can stay in the air for quite a bit longer, unless you know, run into a gateway, of course, and that's a problem. Running out of rings quite quickly, but then to be fair, I'm not actually making much of a deal of, you know, collecting more. There we go. Yeah, that's a pretty cool super form. I'll be honest, I think the design's probably cooler than the actual super abilities. She didn't feel that much more powerful, or certainly not that much more interesting to play. Go over you guys. Whoa, whoa. Oh, yeah, no, it doesn't actually matter, does it? We're just going to land on the thorns. Doesn't actually matter at all whether we fall off. See, don't need to worry about any of that platforming. There we go. Perfect. So yeah, Castlevania later today, hopefully. I mean, if uploading and stuff takes a while, then maybe it might be early tomorrow. But not immune to these spikes. But yeah, just soon enough, very soon hopefully, Castlevania Episode 1 comes out. I've been planning it for, to be honest, ages. I watched the Castlevania Netflix TV show at the start of 2025, waiting for it, you know, to get ready for it, and then it just took this long to get around to actually starting on it, because Ring Racers took way longer to finish than I thought it would. I thought Ring Racers would be, you know, a couple of months at maximum, and then it ends up being a year and a half. So, yeah. It just took... main problem was just it took a lot longer to get through Ring Racers than I had expected. We'll duck under those spikes, because as much as we're not immune to the spike balls, we are immune to the thorns. We've got the arena floor. And then we'll quickly get up here. I'm going to assume we probably can't combo with the egg robos, so we are just going to, you know, do this to get over. Yeah, okay. Definitely doesn't look like the egg robos are going to be our friends. Trying to combo Eggman. But we don't need them to be. We can do it ourselves. There we go, that's good. And off we go to Ad Canyon. Of all of the levels in the game, this seems the most appropriate, to be honest. She's going to be immune to cacti, isn't she? There we are. Oh, and she even gets their hearts when she runs around them. Come on, do your idol animation. Do you just not do your idol when you're next to cacti? That's a bit of a shame. Just makes it a little more difficult to get any good pictures when you're playing with the specific camera mode I do, because turning your camera doesn't really work. The character changes directions with you. It's a nightmare trying to get any good pixels with it. There we are. She loves her cacti brethren. Very cute character. Her moveset's fun. It's nothing particularly... It's unique, but it's not like outstanding in terms of quality. It's pretty good. It's great, but like there's a lot of great SRB2 mods, and it's not, you know, heads and shoulders above them. But I think she is somewhat elevated by just how good her sprites are. Like, it's a cool design. She's cute. A fun character to play around with. And her super form is cool, even if I can't really tell. Even if she doesn't feel materially that much more powerful. She certainly looks it. Even with just like the double boxing gloves instead of running around with nothing. Boom. Straight through there, straight through there. Don't need to worry about any of that. Let's go. I take it back, she is actually a lot more powerful in super form. Just nothing exciting or exotic. It's just very much more powerful versions of the abilities. Let's try going the Knuckles route down here. There's a lot of spikes along it, so it should be interesting. Because ultimately, we don't need to worry about them. It's the whole thing with Knuckles, you know, you'd have to try and get around the spikes. With Cacee, who cares? We then end up here. Okay, yeah. I was about to say, we might actually be stuck now. But no, we can get through there, and we are going to go... Oh, come on. There we go. Oh, and it's just to get back up here. Boring. Up here. I'll be honest, I don't actually think we're getting anywhere here. Yeah, I think we've just looped around on ourselves. Right. This way. Yeah, we are taking a very long-winded route to get basically nowhere fast. We'll just walk through this. We don't need to worry about ducking around them. Through the minecart. Oh, so check whether we can break through the minecart doors. I mean, she is a cacti. Arid Canyon is, I have no doubt, is going to be the most important zone to her. So it would have been good to test that out. You'd imagine she could do. Interesting way to distinguish her from everyone else. It's strange, you can punch, you can do your triple combo out of things like that, but you can't do your rising upper, which is a bit strange. Grab those rings, up here, up here. Right. Explosive barrels she is definitely not going to be immune to. But there it are. Doesn't really matter. Right. Grab that checkpoint before we continue. Yes, he can break through the minecart doors. I love a character who can. If only because it makes this area at least somewhat interesting, whereas with everyone else, it's so boring. I mean, even if you die, the fact that I can actually die in that area is actually vaguely interesting, whereas everywhere else is just like, who cares? There we go. Like, you know, let's go explore. What's up here? What's up this way? I mean, we've just got this seemingly caved in bit of minecart there. Like, you don't really notice that when you're playing because you're stuck down there the entire time. I mean, this way also blocked off. there's that area up there, which I assume is probably accessible somehow, but don't actually know how. Like that area up there, I feel that's got to be accessible somehow. But I don't know how you would, because I think the only way you'd get there in the vanilla game is if you had Tails. But then I don't think there's any way for Tails to get in here. Oh, though I suppose Knuckles if he climbs. Ooh. Oh, come on. That's a cheap hit. That's cheap. Is it a true Mexican standoff? Are we able to, like... Yes, we are. Okay, no, never mind. That is cool. I was going to say that's cheap if they just always get a cheap shot on us, but no, that's cool. That's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Right, Red Volcano. It sounds like Cacee can stand on lava, but only under specific circumstances. Or rather, he can only do it for so long. And let's see whether there's a little patch we can kind of showcase it in without the chances of getting stuck. Yeah, I mean, if we tried it here, all that's going to happen is we're going to get stuck and die. But there's a little bit here, isn't there? Yeah. So we kind of dive in. Yes, you can kind of like take the hit. And then it takes a little while for it to cool down. I'm going to assume it's when smoke stops following her that she is able to go back into the lava. Which does take a long time. That was what, like 15-20 seconds probably? But it's good for sections like that. Whoa, no! Love it when you jump off a place and it doesn't actually jump. It's like, oh yeah, no, that's clearly what I wanted to do. I just wanted to run off the cliff. Didn't quite time my rising up properly. Right, there we go. That's what I wanted to do. Yeah. Right, so improvements to Cacee that I can feel at the moment. Mostly just to do with the rising upper, making it a bit more lenient. It feels a little bit... I don't want to say weak, because it's clearly not weak, but it feels a little bit unforgiving at the moment in terms of like where it places the enemies for a follow-up attack, where it... yeah. Could do with placing enemies a little bit higher up when you hold it. And it could probably also do with having a little bit wider of a radius to attract enemies and to drag them up with you. It feels a little bit narrow at the moment. And especially like up and down, it feels quite arbitrary. Side to side, it's not too bad. Like it's maybe a little bit less forgiving than it could do with being. But it's like, it's mostly alright. It's just the up and down. That's the really bit that really feels off. If you can find a water source, you can apparently cool down immediately. But seeing as we're in a volcano, I don't think we're going to find any water sources here. Oh no, that's not really what I wanted you to do, Cacee, but fine, whatever. I'll take it. You know, I'm not going to complain about going super. Especially as he is still made fully immune to lava. There we go. Got there in the end. We are going to go right to this time because... Oh, no, never mind. We are going to go left. I was going to say, because he is going to be short enough to get through there, but clearly not. Oh, nearly messed that up. Right, through here, straight away. We're not going to bother with doing any of that. through this room quickly. A lot of people are saying that Egg Rock did actually used to have an Act 3. Which I didn't know, because again, I only started playing SRB2 with version 2.2. I want to say 9. I think it was 9. So I don't have that much of a history with the game to know what its earlier versions were like. So apparently Egg Rock did used to have an Act 3, but to be honest, I've always just seen Black Core as Egg Rock's Act 3. No, don't go super. I wanted you to punch. Let's go down here. Let's see how forgiving this is with Cacee. Me ultimately just being able to sit on the spikes helps. I don't think I've ever done this legitimately, so I don't really know what you're supposed to do there, but there we are. Teleporter, yep. Oh, yep, there you are. Got hit by the pin cushion, but it's alright. I'll get my revenge. Yeah, I like the triple combo, that feels nice and punchy. I don't think that needs to be changed. It is just the rising up I could do with being a bit more forgiving with its range and all that. The height's perfect. I don't think the height needs to be changed. There we go. Gracefully get here. Boom. There we go. Straight up here. Whoa, ho, ho, ho. Nearly messed that up. The whole jump in before you go into anti-gravity. Break through there. Oh, just about get through there. Whoa. Ho. Right, let's actually try and conserve this time, because up until now it's not been the most successful keeping that, but you know, here we are. There we are. Quick. Oh, missed that, so let's not fall off here. The good thing with this stage is that you do get a fair number of rings in these pipelines, so it's not like you're losing rings or you're going through them, despite how lengthy they are. There we go. Grab all of these. Come on, let me out. Let me out. I do like her expression. Obviously super. Like, kind of angry. It's a fun design. It's a very fun design. I'm liking it a lot. Just go straight up here, and unfortunately I do think we are going to lose this before we get into the... Oh no, I think we might just about be able to get here with the super form. Right, come on, quick. Oh, messed that up. Yeah. There we are. I was just trying to get through this without having to wait for this tedious platforming. So fun. Woohoo, there we go. Like, yippee, woohoo, I love this. Like, speed it up a little bit, come on. And now the question is, No. I was going to say, do I go fight Eggman rather than go to the usual goalpost? But then I remembered that short as he isn't actually short enough to go into duck spaces. So we're going to have to finish the level in the normal manner. Which is, of course, going on to level select and selecting the next one. Because I'm not going through all of that again. We got right to the end. Don't at me. Break through the spikes. There we are. Oh, nearly got there. Super fast. Come on, come on. Oh, skimmed the lava there. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can really do to speed up this final section, because I'm not quite sure whether the punches are speeding us up or not. Oh, you are going to be miserable, aren't you? Yes, you are. Absolutely miserable to deal with. Alright, I am going to make the executive decision to say that I've seen all I need to see in terms of fighting this guy, and I'm not going to bother. Like, all of that was enough to make me go, yep, no, this is not going to work. Let's go straight into Black Eggman. Right, come on, go under the acid. I don't know, what acid does to cacti. Don't know whether that's going to be another... Hey, fun fact. Cacee is actually immune to the acid. Because random cacti trivia, but doesn't matter. We're just going to avoid it. The other good thing is we can be a little bit reckless with the fire in the arena. Because, she's sort of partially resistant to it. So we can't be too crazy because it takes so long to recharge, but we can at least kinda... Oh no. Just go into the lava. Just go into the acid. Come on. Why do you do this? How do you always manage to do like a perfect ring around the thing? Why can't you ever just go into it? Boom. Oh, but it shouldn't matter because they're on a final hit anyway. Let's have a look. I've always wondered what that green thing is on this stage. Like, is it the main core or something? Like, what do you guys interpret that green area in the skybox as? Come on, destroy your navigation, computer. Yeah, I've always kind of thought of it as the core. Like the original Black Rock, but I don't know. There we are. Very legitimately got all of those emeralds. Tried very hard for them. Right, next up we have Chaos Knuckles, who, to be entirely honest, probably not going to be too long because, as far as I can gather, he is not a particularly unique or exciting form of Knuckles. You guys are going to have to tell me whether or not that's his new sprites. Because, like, I can't actually turn the camera to look at it. I think it's the old ones. Alright, the main way I was able to tell the difference was his shoes. But can't really tell them from the back. So you can glide multiple times in a jump. You have something called the aimed spin dash, which is kind of like the spam dash in that you can do it while rolling or while moving. You don't have to come to a standstill for it. Mania MF4. I don't know if I'm just a grumpy old man, but the mods for this game used to be more interesting, mysterious. Maybe I just got older and now somewhat know how this game works. I don't know. I kind of agree with you. It feels like a lot of the people that used to make the really cool mods kind of dropped off from SRB2. I think a lot of them disappeared during Sonic Team Junior's crackdown on some of the stuff they didn't like on the forums. A lot of the accounts that used to appear in a lot of the big mods, I seem to see that they don't. Their accounts were deleted from the official server. So I think a lot of the big people that brought in those big mods at the start, so, you know, things like Sado and all the rest of that, a lot of the people involved with those mods just kind of disappeared over time. I don't know, you know, I don't know why. I don't know whether it was all falling out with Sonic Team Junior over the changes or whether it was other things beyond that. But yeah, it does feel like a lot of the mods we see nowadays, it feels like a lot of the interesting ones are Mavericks, like the ones that completely change how the game works. But in terms of interesting characters like Cacee, I feel we do see a lot less of them nowadays. It feels like we nowadays, as a community, rather than have lots of, or a good number of semi-interesting mods come out, it seems like we have one really big mod that we sit there and wait for like 4 months, 6 months, and then that's kind of it until the next big mod comes out in the next 4 months, 6 months, whatever, or the next big update. It's like X Sonic, or like Silverhorn into X Sonic, if that makes sense. Like, it used to be that maybe we would have Sado, and then the R characters, and then Cacee and Russ characters and all the rest of that. And they all kind of came out in a fairly short time frame next to each other, comparatively. But then, and obviously they were all a lot less individually interesting or complex than, say, the Chaotix were, you know, with 6 characters they're working with, or Silverhorn with a crazy amount of extra content they had. But that was kind of balanced out by the much faster release cadence. So it's just kind of like, pick your poison. But yeah, I think there are a lot of reasons. I don't fully agree on just saying that like every mods become less mysterious, but I do feel like the way the mods are released and changes have changed over the years. And it is, I think, part of the reason that I don't review mods as often, because I'll be going through the forums and I'll just be like, there's nothing I can really review here. Like, there's a lot of interesting changes, but it's not really stuff that I feel like I can review very easily. So yeah. IsoWatt says, I think most mods are just base roster characters with different lures slapped on them. I don't want to go that far. Yeah, maybe as like a percentage, the number of those kind of mods have increased because we've seen the decrease in the number of really high quality mods diminish. But I don't think that's like representative of the entire modding scene. I think there's always been a lot of fluff, you know, of people releasing their first character mods or whatever. And like, you know, it's fun, but it's not crazy. It's not world changing. Whereas nowadays, you see a lot more yeah, whereas because there's less of those kind of I say medium quality, but like good quality, but not crazy mods, like, you know, Inazuma or whatever. I think a lot of them have disappeared. I think as like a percentage, yeah, they have increased, but as like the actual number of them increased, no, I don't think so. Oh, I messed that up again, but it's alright, got through. Just about managed it. And we can break through here, can't we? No? He also has like this, yeah, he has this ground pound thing, but it seems to be a bit indecisive. I know you can use it to land on enemies and like really powerful bandit bounce, but that's not the most exciting or exotic ability out there. Alright, we're gonna go this. Whoa, we're gonna go this way. Ah, try to get through. I mean, it is pretty hard to match the insanity of ring races. Yeah, I suppose that's maybe another thought. With ring races coming out and being a lot more interesting of a base game than SRB2K was, it does seem that a lot of people have moved on to making ring races mods instead. I see a lot more interesting looking ring races mods than I ever did see interesting looking kart mods. So I think that might also be part of it. With ring races coming out, a lot of people have moved on to making crazy stuff with that rather than crazy stuff with SRB2. But again, I don't really know. I think it's probably a combination of a lot of factors. I think part of it is probably the forums, the effects that a lot of Sonic Team Junior's crackdowns on the forums probably caused a lot of it. I think people moving on to ring races caused a little bit of it. I think people just moving out of the community moved out of it. I think the fact that a lot of the interesting ideas have kind of been finished up and used up have caused part of it. Like, you know, we have Vector now, so no one's making a Vector mod. We have Charmy now, so no one's making a Charmy mod. We've had a Sado mod since the start, so no one's making a Sado. We've had a Silver. You know, you get the idea. Once you have one really good mod of a requested character, you don't need more of them. Like, Blaze is the definitive Blaze. We don't need more Blazes. You know, Sado's the definitive Sado. We don't need more Sados. That sort of thing. So, like, you do occasionally see that sort of thing happening. Like, with Ruse, for example. You still see a lot of Ruse mods come out because there isn't really a definitive Ruse mod. The most you have is ports from 2.2, and then quite recently you've had 2 Ruse mods drop back to back. But neither of them are really definitive either. The one character that I would really like to see still is Omega. Like, Omega's my favorite Sonic character, and he really doesn't have anything in SRB2. I don't think he has any mods. Like, never mind a good mod, I don't think he has any. I haven't seen it, certainly. So yeah, that's like the final frontier for me. Like, getting a good Omega mod, that'll be it. That'll be modding for SRB2 is finished now. We don't need more of it once we have an Omega mod. Mania MF4, I remember there being more level packs and just mods that strains. Now it's kind of samey. Feels like everyone is making original character mods. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't have anything against OCs, but again, I think that's just a virtue of the fact that every like mainline real Sonic character is now more or less done. Like, you know, you have your Sados, you have your Blazes, you have your everyone people are going to be asking for. So what do you do next? You make your OCs. And a lot of OC mods are great, like, you know, Silverhorn's a fantastic mod, probably one of the best in the game. That's an OC pack. So yeah, I do think there probably are more OCs, but that's not really something I'd complain about. Like, there are other things, there are things that I think have gotten worse, there are things I think have gone better, the modding scene, but the number of OC characters isn't one of them. I don't think that's a negative or a positive, I think that just is an effect of all of the mainline characters being finished. Oh, okay, apparently you can't climb on that. Mamie squad rise up. Yeah, no, Mamie's great. Mamie's a great character. Through here, there we are. No, but you can't climb on these. I always assumed these weren't climbable. The thing is that this is Green Knuckles. This is a real character, by the way. This is from the Archie comics. Knuckles was green for a while because he took in too much Chaos energy from, I don't remember whether it's Chaos Emeralds or the Master Emerald, but he took in too much Chaos energy and ended up turning green like this. It's not a particularly great paint job. Like, the muzzle looks really weird. Yeah, so it's not a crazy interesting mod, this one. This isn't a particularly great mod. It's just, again, back in the day I used to play a lot of mods that I knew weren't going to be great, just because they were simple enough that I knew I could cover everything without annoying anyone, because I missed this out or that out because I was on controller. So I did play a lot of, like, mods that I knew weren't going to be very interesting or particularly amazing, even before I downloaded them. So yeah, there's a lot of characters like Chaos Knuckles. There are, you know, a couple of other characters, but just ones that I knew were going to be pretty derivative from the start. I think, as stupid as it seems, I do think he could do with invincibility. If I remember correctly, Chaos Knuckles was basically, you know, super powered. So I think he could probably do with being a little more, you know, super powered. As it stands, he really is just Green Knuckles who is slightly faster and has a better glide. It's not that interesting. And I don't think he really could make him that interesting, but he could at least try. Right, there we are. I think we are going to go into some special stages, and then we are going to go into Steve, who, I will warn you now, might not go all of that well, because he is very clearly designed to be played on keyboard with the amount of custom buttons he uses, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah, I'm warning you now that Steve is probably not going to be that, like, it's not going to be high level Steve gameplay, put it that way. It's going to be very slow, it's going to be clunky, it's not going to go that well. But, you know, we'll see how it goes. We'll go the secret way through here. Oh. This way? Yep, there we are. I want to do more of those speed running videos, like the speed running as X-Sonic. I want to do more of those eventually. I think I said at the end of that video that I'll probably do Blaze the Cat. You know, that's one choice. I did that one because I knew I couldn't do an X-Sonic review, because I knew that it was just, my review was going to be poor. Right, we are not going to do Pipe Towers this time, because I keep doing it before immediately having to turn it off, because I remember that it's just going to get me copyright struck. So this time we are just going to skip past it completely and do Forest Fortress. Ooh, you know what I haven't checked out yet? Super Chaos Knuckles. And Pandora's box. Get all emeralds. Give me a ton of rings. Let's see what Super Chaos Knuckles looks like. There we go. Can he go super? Yes, he can, though it is certainly not very interesting. Like, he looks no different. I think he might be even more neon green. And then I think the explosions when you grip onto a wall is a vanilla Knuckles thing. I don't think that's new. Or a vanilla Super Knuckles thing, I should say. Like, I don't think that's coming from Chaos Knuckles. I suppose it would be interesting if Chaos Knuckles, in his base form, took a couple more cues from Super Knuckles already. Like, he is probably as powerful as vanilla Super Knuckles, but he is missing some of vanilla Super Knuckles' specific traits, like the explosions when he lands on a wall. He'll probably do some of that. Through here. Up here. Let's get some speed sneakers just to really stack the effects on here. I intend to have myself flung into a pit without even realizing it. Let's try up here. There's I think it's a, I think it's an emblem, but no, it's just an apocalypse shield. Into the castle. There we go. There we are. And I think with that, we are going to move on to Steve. I think we all get the gist of Chaos Knuckles at this point. He's not that interesting or exciting a character. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Oh yeah, okay, so before we begin, I do need to change some video options. So if I remember correctly, it's OpenGL needs to be on, but I need to limit my frame rate to 35, if I remember correctly. Or else he bugs out. So sorry if the frame rate suddenly drops and it feels really slow. I don't like it either, but there we are. So he can crouch by pressing custom 1. He can sprint by pressing L2. Luckily he does not do any damage. I did just punch, I think, but I'm not sure how. Or is it just... Okay, no, I think that was just part of the animation. Right, I am going to go and quickly map fire and fire normal to my bumpers. So, give me a moment. Fire is spacebar. Okay, we're going to make that there. And we're going to make fire normal, which is the place button. R1. And I think... Yeah, there we go. Now if we punch basically anything, we can drop it and then immediately place it. That's not what I wanted to do. The other problem is because we're not in first person, this is also going to be a problem because we are playing on controller and therefore looking up and down is, let's just say, difficult. Placing's a problem. Can't really place anything down very easily. Like, I can't actually tell whether I'm hitting this, to be honest. The mining sounds are very, very quiet. And then if we place it here. Oh, this is going well. But yeah, this is the problem with a lot of Maverick characters. It's just that they require complicated, interesting control schemes that you can't really do with the controller. Or certainly not without it feeling very strange. Come on, crouch. Come on, you can get in there. Come on, Steve. Big boned. Like, for example, I'm really struggling because Steve is very tall. Or, you know, perhaps a little taller than normal. Except I can't actually bend down to hit any enemies. Maybe if I crouch and hit. But yeah, as you can see, this is a character made pretty definitively for mouse and keyboard. I don't think first person's necessarily the problem. I think it is the mouse and keyboard bit. Just to have all of those extra abilities on hand. Make things a little bit easier, because like the only thing I can really hit in this stage is trees. And even then, that's debatable. He does have custom a custom health system where it takes, you know, certain amounts of damage and then it's healed by going in certain, you know, bodies of water. No, not bodies of water. By passing jack. Oh. And then it's healed by going into checkpoints. So that is interesting. He's an interesting character. I just, you know, I can't really play as him properly. So it is going to make reviewing him a little bit difficult because it's like I can tell what he's going for. I can tell he's a good character just because of how interesting he is. But like, I can't play as him. Can't you just control the camera with a joystick? No. You'd hope so, you'd wish so, but I promise you, for whatever reason, no matter what I do, the camera controls do not work. Like, I can get, if I remember correctly, I can get side-to-side camera controls working pretty well. Like, you know, you can see that my side-to-side camera works fine. You know, boom. Side-to-side camera. If I go first person, I can move side-to-side easily. But up and down, no matter what I do, it will not work. Like, the best I can do is get him to look, like, diagonally up and down, but it gets stuck. It doesn't work properly. So, like, I've tried over and over and over again to get up and down camera controls working properly, and it just does not happen for me. I don't know whether it is just me or whether it is a persistent issue for everyone using a controller, but I cannot use the up and down motion with the controller. I don't know what it is. Best I can do is diagonal, and even that really doesn't work that well. I don't know how I reviewed Steve back then, because I would have been even worse with using things like the fire button back then. Don't know what I did in my review. I don't know whether I probably just did what I'm doing now and copped out and said he's clearly a good character, I just can't play as him. I probably just did a coward's way out as well there. But no, it is a fun character. It is interesting to see someone who is genuinely Steven from Minecraft. Like, he feels very accurate. It's just, again, I can't really play as him. Right, we are going to have to dive down here, and then we can just swim. Okay, this might have been a mistake. Yeah. Alright, let's try another level. See whether something with larger things work better. What has large props? Arid Canyon, I guess. Like you got your cacti. Let's see how he works with the cacti. Oh, and the TNT. That'll be interesting to see. See? Boom. And then I like to place it, but like the best I can do is, because I can't look up and down, I can just have to stick it to walls. Am I breaking that? I can't hear. So yeah, a very funny character, but I can't really do him justice, like, at all. There we go. Can't break through that. I mean, it seems only certain cacti are breakable. Oh, and then I don't actually know how you swap in your inventory either, so that's the other thing. Yeah, so an interesting character, a cool character, but I can't do him justice, like, at all. Which is unfortunate. I wish I could show him off better, but there's only so much I can do. Let me see whether I can show you, like, what I mean when I say that the camera controls just don't work. The problem is that you can't really toggle things for the control stick. So, best I can do is like, boom, boom. That's not going to work because I have to, Yeah, so SRB2, it doesn't really recognize you moving your joystick up and down when you're trying to say, you know, on this screen. It doesn't recognize you flicking a joystick up or down. It only recognizes it if you push it in, which you can only do once. It doesn't recognize a touchpad if you're using a DualSense or a DualShock 4. So, you know, you can't map it to that. You can map it to the D-pad, but I think I have things mapped to that. And that's also going to be really uncomfortable with, you know. So, you know, now that I can look down but never back up, let's see whether I can actually hit things now. See? Okay, I wasn't actually pressing L1 there, but there we are, whatever. So see, I can like look side to side. And I can now look down. But that's about it. Which is the same. So yeah, a fun character, but you know, there's only so much you can do. So yeah, there we go. That's our characters for today. That's Cacee, Chaos Knuckles and Steve. A little sad that I can't really show Steve off in a better light. But Cacee's good. Cacee's a great character. Easy A rank. Chaos Knuckles, I mean, like, he's Green Knuckles. He's pretty derivative. There's not much to him. Let's just sit there so that we don't load anything up. Yeah, so it's a little bit of a shame we couldn't show off Steve in a better light. That's the real problem. He's a Maverick. I'm gonna have to see whether I can kind of somewhat finagle something with the keyboard and mouse, just to try and rank him in any sort of fair light, rather than basically guess. That's not really fair on anyone, him or any other character. But that's, you know, that's what I can all I can really do at this stage. But, you know, obviously a Maverick. He's obviously not a speedster or whatever. He's obviously a Maverick. Someone who doesn't really play the traditional SRB2 game. He's, you know, just kind of doing his own thing. Cacee, ooh, I mean, her entire game plan revolves around combat and fighting people, so a combatant makes sense. Maybe an explorer, because you can basically get... maybe not. Her vertical movement does rely a little too much on outside sources to maybe count as an yeah, a combatant. Cacee, and then Chaos Knuckles, definitely an explorer. I mean, it's just Knuckles, but faster in the end, at the end of the day. So there's not much going on there. But yeah, there you go. That is our characters for today. But before we finish the stream, I am going to have a look at who we are going to play as next time. So give me a moment. We are going to set the game down. You should, in a moment, see my Safari page. Sorry, my Firefox page, I should say. And that'll be my roulette wheel, which we will check who our next set of characters are based on that. Character stream schedule, there we go. Right. Roulette. Let's get that up. And then in the meantime, let's switch to window capture. It's going to be... Oh, there we go. It's the roulette first time this time. Every time that goes to my OBS, sorry, my YouTube Studio first for some reason, despite never setting that up. Right, and for this one, we are going to do 5 characters rather than 3. And then we are going to have a little less time with each of them. But then, to be fair, with each passing playthrough, I seem to spend less and less time with each character, so we'll probably end up being about the same amount of time. So, first of all, we have character number 1. Let's have a look. Spin the wheel and see. Crash Bandicoot, it looks like. Yep. First of all, we have Crash Bandicoot. There we go. Bandicoot. Spelled it wrong. In my list, tell me to remember. So remove them from the wheel. Okay, and then we have Serpentine, I believe that is. Let's have a look. Serpentine. Can't remember who did that, but that's the guy from Freedom Planet. So that'll be interesting. Then we have PTG. Is that? Ooh. I gotta be real with you guys. I do not remember who that is, what that's an acronym for, but, you know, obviously I'll figure out by the next video, by the next stream, I should say. PTG. No, be honest, that acronym escapes me. Don't know who that is. But again, we'll figure it out. Obviously not going to go into the next stream and be like, yep, sorry guys, still don't know who PTG is. Nick Wolffang? Yep, I was about to say that's... For whatever reason, I get him and Scarf the Wolf mixed up every time. But no, that is a character that we covered relatively recently. He was kind of cool. I don't remember my thoughts on him exactly, but I don't think they were particularly negative. I think he was a pretty middle-of-the-road character, to be honest. And then finally, we have... Germa. Who, I gotta be real with you guys, kind of sucked. But he was very obviously one of those mods that was put together in like, 5 seconds. Just to be a funny joke. Which, is nothing necessarily wrong with that, but when we're comparing him to like Inazuma or Aether, it doesn't match up at all. It doesn't compare. So yeah, there we go. Our next stream, which will hopefully be sooner rather than later. It seems that the gap between each one gets longer every time. But next stream is going to be Crash Bandicoot, Serpentine, whoever PTG is. I kind of want to say it's a Mario mod that for whatever reason had used PTG as the acronym. But I can't remember. Again, I really can't remember. I'll figure it out for the next stream. Nick Wolffang and Germa. Some of those better than others, to be honest. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh yeah, no, they're all equally great. No, some of those guys kind of suck, to be honest. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the stream. I'm sure everyone's a little bit disappointed to see that. What's his face? Steve didn't quite live up to the imagination, but there we go. It is what it is. Later today, hopefully, the Castlevania playthrough will begin. Hopefully. Either that or tomorrow. But that should be fun. That'll be an interesting change of pace from what has up to this point been basically purely a Sonic channel with the occasional break for a Remedy game or K-pop Demon Hunters. So it'll be fun to finally do what I've been threatening for years at this point and finally branch out to some other games in my library. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the stream. I hope you're all ready and excited for next time. But for now, ciao.